So the 5 most undervalued stocks for you to buy in April 2021. Maybe with your stimulus check, if there's still some leftovers, or with some cash that you have from your day-to-day job, or maybe you have some savings. I will give you 5 top picks here, okay? And I will explain you why. As you know, I'm a little bit, let's say, specialized on innovative consumer companies, because I just feel that you can, know if a product has the potential to really become a 10x product. And there's though one exception in one of those 5 stocks. But however, let's start with something that you have at home. Netflix. Netflix had a pretty good run in January, because they had like absolutely insane growth numbers. And since then, since the overall turn down of the market, they lost only 12%. So you can see here that the overall, let's say, power of this stock is still very strong. This was the best performing stock in the last decade from 2010 to 2020. And when you are looking into the 1-year chart, you can see that you could make an easy 42% return for a company. That is quite safe in my personal opinion. PE ratio here with 84 is a little bit on the higher side, more in the software or SaaS industry direction. Market cap just $226 billion. I think this is a fantastic company. Why? Now, I always try to see what is the next product for a company. And for Netflix, it's quite interesting because, they invest so much power and money into content, which is paying off tremendously. But now they are actually testing to not allow anymore several users using one account, which I'm sure some of you guys doing, all right? I mean, you maybe share it with your family, with your friends or whatsoever. So this might be the end in the next couple of months. So you can imagine that at least 30%, these are estimations, would go for a brand new account. So this could have, let's say, a revenue increase up to 30%, but obviously this would be a little bit not really realistic. So I think like 10 or 15% immediately after the decision would be made. So they're currently testing things out to find out who's sharing passwords. So I'm quite interested into what's coming up next. So let's dive into the next stock. The next stock is quite interesting, not only because I'm already invested into this company, but because I thought at $160 it was a bargain. And now, almost sometimes below $100, it's even a bigger bargain, okay? So here we are talking about Peloton. And let's dive into the stock, what it did the last couple of weeks. I mean, the 12th of January marked the recent all-time high, and we went down to about 108. Sometimes we were at 101. And since the 12th of Jan, we lost about 35%. So in the overall momentum story stock downturn, same, downturn numbers. Here you can see a market cap at 32 billion, but there's so many things that happened to Peloton. I mean, since the last earnings, they said they want to improve the production capability because they have one big problem. They cannot solve so many clients that want to buy a Peloton bike, which is quite ridiculous. This is a great problem to have. And then obviously you have this tremendous, always new partnerships, how to create something new. So they just announced a partnership with Adidas, they have partnerships with Beyoncé. So this is just the beginning where this company goes, and it's just in 3 countries, which is Germany, UK, and the US. And now they're expanding to Australia as well, which is quite interesting as well, because the English content can be extended quite easily there, though it will be not this big of a revenue, let's say, push. You have to imagine that scaling is obviously quite interesting when it comes to languages. So it would be easier to now go to, maybe a Spanish language, right? Then we can cover Uruguay, Argentina, Spain, all of these countries. So let's see how Peloton moves forward. I'm super excited for the Q1 earnings, and this is a company that I buy without any hesitation. believe this company is talked so much about, and I don't have this company even on my watch list, okay? But let me tell you, and I said this before, I still believe this is a great company to be in. Why? There's a couple of things. First, I think with the current downturn, as you can see here, we lost about from 39 to about 24, which is a decrease of 37 percentage, okay? And you know, since the IPO, I mean, this is absolutely insane what the company did so far and what it did before. As you can see here, even up to 310% if you consider the lows and the highs of this stock. Now, first, that it is, okay? So the cheap price, or the cheaper price, is obviously a great opportunity. Second, I always invest into the people behind the company as well. So Peter Thiel is one of the most genius guy out there, and I believe whatever he is involved in is very, very smart. I watched a couple of videos of the CEO who's also telling very smart things. Then we are talking about the product. The product is something very genius because they are using, you know, this power of software engineering and applying into government problems, which is a huge market, because governments surely have a lot of data, but they don't have really the tools to work quite effectively on those problems that they have. And therefore you can imagine that those companies like Palantir are actually really benefiting from this move of governments being more digitalized and having quite significantly interesting products for them, for the military cases, for infrastructure projects, everything what you can imagine, what you can digitalize to make the work of people of the US government easier, cheaper, better, faster. This is Palantir, and that's why I think it's a pretty nice company. So try to invest in it, did your own research obviously, and let's dive into the next stock. Do you remember when I, at the Airbnb IPO, said this company is just getting started, they will grow and grow and will have great future outlooks, and specifically 2021 with the travel boom will be quite interesting with Airbnb, and exactly that happened. I mean, as you might know, took the $60,000 that I put at the IPO and wanted to increase to about $500,000 into the stock position, took and thought, okay, the 60,000 is maybe a little more better invested into the space company, into Virgin Galactic. And I was right. I mean, they grow even faster and better than Airbnb did. But look at this performance since the IPO at around about 144. And then, you know, I had to see many comments that said, I told you so, it was too expensive, don't go into Airbnb at this valuation, because the stock went down about 13% to about 124 levels. And but in the long run, you know, we could gain 35% since the IPO, which was fantastic. I mean, obviously this is a great company, great brand, great reputation, unbelievable team. I read the book, I read so much thing about Airbnb before I invested in. And once I'm happy with the overall investing portfolio into space, Tesla, Peloton, Beyond Meat, I can imagine to just put in money there. So if it's one of those companies that you are interested in and not maybe, for example, into space that much, then this is a great company to be in. Relatively safe in terms of investment because they have so much experience now. They got so much better through the crisis. And yeah, with $118 billion in market cap, definitely a little bit bigger company, but with much future growth. I'm telling you that once the people decide to go out, they will book Airbnbs like crazy. And for the next stock, I have already the right t-shirt on, Space Early Investor, because I still believe that Space is a great company to invest in April, because we will have just a crazy countdown for the My test flight, okay? So you can imagine the following. So we are actually going into the March end, which will have one or at least two significant catalysts, which will be the reveal of the Spaceship 3 and maybe the ARC-X space ETF that will launch most probably end of this month or in next month in April for sure. So you can see here those big two catalysts are actually ongoing, and then you are seeing the next catalyst is then already a month later, and all in between can be also quite interesting because you will have the Q1 earnings report where we get some updates of the CEO, and maybe Shamas will tell us a little bit more about the company. We get all of these bits and pieces a little bit, so I'm super excited. Okay, I'm super excited for this company, so stay tuned. Every Friday, Virgin Galactic Friday, subscribe, like, make sure to follow me everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, very important, Wolf of Dubai Denny. And if you want to get on my level of investing and quit your day-to-day job 9 to 5 and to do full-time investing, then check out the x10masterclass.com, and you can be part of a fantastic team because you will get even lifetime access to my Discord chat. So would be great to see you on the other side, because the grass is greener on the other side.